Hi guys, I am for this one doing two videos. Two. So I'm going to do back to back because one is for the book series for romance recovery, and then the second one is a very special book that I want to talk about just for Mother's Day because Mother's Day is actually coming up really soon. So after this video, be sure to click on over to the next video, and that's the one for Mother's Day. So this is day 3 for the Romance Recovery book series. And if you haven't caught on yet, each book that we've talked about comes in pairs, or I'm encouraging you to get it in pairs because your marriage requires the two of you to work together. So, of course, the books that we're discussing require you to work together. And that is so important because it's a natural way to give yourselves quality time together. You work, he works. It doesn't matter who works in or outside the home, you both work. And through the busyness of life, sometimes you just miss scheduling time together. And so these books are designed to do just that, give you time together. Now, today's book is designed to help you focus on the spiritual aspect of your marriage and help you connect spiritually, because you didn't just take vows with each other, you took vows before God. And so it is only right that God has a say-so in your marriage as well. So for these next two books, they're from the same author. She actually does a wonderful series on prayer. And her series is the Power of a Praying series. And so these two books are by Stormy O'Martian. It's The Power of a Praying Husband and The Power of a Praying Wife. Now, mine looks like this because it is a very, very old copy, a very old edition of the book. She has since made new editions of both books, which you can get at her website or again from your local bookstore, Amazon. I've even loaned my copy out to some friends, and when they have it and I still need it, I just go to my library's website and check out the ebook format of the book. So that's how down for this series I really am, that I'll even check it out from my library. I'll either check out the paperback or I'll get on my tablet and go to my library's website and check out the ebook, while my friends have it out on loan. And my friends that I have let borrow the books, they've given me wonderful reviews on it. Not that I need it. I know that it works personally for myself. When I say that I've had my copy for a long time, I've had this copy since I was a teenager, because most girls, we do dream about being wives and having that one. And because I did dream about being a wife is something that I did always want. And I kind of imagined being married to the man I'm married to since I was a young girl. Like, I'm blessed in that the man that I married is the same guy that I used to scribble his last name with my first name. Girls, you know how we used to do that. So I'm blessed in that sense. And so I wanted this for a pretty long time, and I wanted to know how to be a wife. And I literally ran across this book in my mom's house. She never used it. And it was just kind of laying around. And so I picked it up and I started reading it. It's full of devotionals to help you understand God's point of view on your role as a wife or as a husband. And every section ends with a prayer, and Stormy pulls from her own life, her own testimony, to help you walk through the word and get God's perspective on how you should go about being a husband and being a wife. And what my husband and I have done with these two books is we have it makes it easier for us to give each other prayer requests based on the table of contents. And as I've done with the first 2 days, I am going to go through the table of contents of each one with you. Some of the chapters are the same and some of them aren't. Some of them are specific to gender. So for the women, she goes through the power, which is basically talking about just the power of prayer itself. And also for each book, she, like for the wife, well, you'll see. So the first is the power, and then there's his wife, his work, his finances, his sexuality, his affection, his temptations, his mind, his fears, his purpose, his choices, his health, his protections, his trials, his integrity, his reputation, his priorities, his fatherhood, his past, his attitude, his marriage, his emotions, his walk, his talk, his repentance, his deliverance, his obedience, his self-image, his faith, and lastly, his future. So it sounds like a lot. It is a lot. It's 30 chapters, but it's worth it. Each chapter comes with her own wisdom, and she does a really good job of trying to keep the chapters brief. And I think she did that because there are so many. But she has clearly designed this book to enable you as the wife to cover your partner on every front that you can. And it's important to not only do that, but to be conscious of God's presence enough to pray not just about what's in this book, but whatever specific thing that God may put on your heart to pray about concerning your husband or your spouse, your partner. So it's just, it opens up the door for you to create a culture of prayer in your home and in your marriage. Now for the husbands, like I said, she's done the same thing. And I'm going to see if you guys can pick up on the pattern that she's doing here. She starts out again with the power, and then we go into her husband, her spirit, her emotions, her motherhood, her moods, her marriage, her submission, her relationships, her priority, her beauty, her sexuality, her fears, her purpose, her trust, her protection, her desires, her work, her deliverance, her obedience, and her future. So guys, you got 20 chapters, we got 30. And I think that's because for guys, there are so many layers to you guys that you don't talk about, you don't delve into. And Stormy has been married for a long time with her husband. They have 2 children, a son and daughter, both grown. So she's been able to go through the many, many phases of marriage, and therefore has a little further insight than, say, I would only 6 years in, even though I've known my husband for almost 19 years, if you understand what that means. So it allows you to lay the groundwork to say, give prayer requests. My husband and I, like, we share each other's books. We are able to go into the table of contents or flip through each other's books, and we're able to say to each other, hey, I really do need you to pray about my relationships with other people, because I'm going into this business venture and I just want to make sure that I'm covered as far as, being able to see who's trustworthy and who's not. If there are any kind of shifty people in my presence, I just want to make sure that I'm covered. So my husband and I, we can go in and like pick prayer requests that we may need, and we want the other one to be conscious and aware of, and as the word would say, touch and agree with us about. So I hope you guys will go and get them. Stormy has her own website as well. She actually also has a very strong Facebook presence, as do the parrots. We talked about the parrots on day one. They have a very strong Facebook presence. Stormy has a very strong Facebook presence, and you can go to Facebook and like either one of their pages. You can order Stormy's books from her website. You can also get them from Amazon. Check your local libraries. I mentioned it at the top of this video, that when I loan my book out to my girlfriends, when I still need to do those devotionals, I go to my local library. So if any of the books in the series, except How to Love Me, I don't think How to Love Me is in any library, because it is a questionnaire. But if you need the book and can't afford the book, check your local library and see if you can download the book or go and check it out from the library. And for How to Love Me, I have a few copies available. So if you can't afford it, email me. I may be able to gift it to you. Also, like I said, check over to the next video. I have a very special Mother's Day message, and I want to make sure you get it. And enjoy the power of a praying wife and the power of a praying husband. It's really special to know that you're walking with someone who cares about you on all fronts, especially your spirit, and how your inner well-being is, what the status of your inner well-being is as well. And it's a very special bond to have. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please remember to like in the comments below. If you have any prayer requests, this is definitely the place to drop those off. My husband and I would love to pray with you and for you and touch and agree with you that the things that you need from God come to pass. And we hope you and your partner will touch and agree with each other and be each other's backbone and partner and covering. See you later, guys.